What was supposed to be just another walk home for Dr. Andrew turns into a series of events that lead his career to fail and change his life in ways he had never imagined. What happens when a doctor chooses humanity over protocol to save life but puts his at risk? Find out in today's shocking story, and please let us know where you're listening from. Dr. Andrew Carter had just wrapped up another grueling shift at the private clinic in downtown Portland. The summer air was unusually cool for August, and the quiet streets offered him a rare moment to breathe. He relished the peaceful walk home, a ritual that helped clear his mind after tending to dozens of patients. But tonight would be different. As he passed the edge of a small park, something unusual caught his eye. A little girl, no older than 9, huddled on the curb under a flickering street lamp. She was sobbing, clutching her right arm close to her chest, trembling. Andrew immediately approached. "Hey there, are you okay?" The girl looked up with wide, tear-filled eyes. "Oh, my arm. It hurts a lot. I think it's broken." Her name was Annie. Andrew's medical instincts kicked in. Annie's arm was swollen, bruised, and stiff. There was no time to waste. "Oh, let's get you some help," he said gently. He carefully lifted her and drove straight back to the clinic, well past closing hours. No paperwork, no authorization, just his oath as a doctor. Annie's pain was unbearable, and delaying treatment until morning would only make things worse. He knew the risk. Performing surgery without clearance could cost him his job, his reputation, and possibly his entire future in medicine. It wasn't a decision he took lightly, and his mind raced with what-ifs as he prepped the sterile room alone. But in that moment, faced with a crying child in pain and no one else to help, there was no question about what needed to be done. He didn't care. Not about the policies, the paperwork, or even the looming consequences. All he cared about was saving that little girl's arm. Inside the clinic, the corridors were dim and empty. Andrew prepped the operating room alone. The X-ray confirmed his fears, a fracture of the radius near her wrist. She needed surgery. Now, he sat beside Annie, who looked up at him nervously. "Will it hurt?" "Oh no," he said, holding her hand. "Oh, I promise. I'll make your arm as good as new." With no one else to turn to, Annie nodded. She trusted him. And so, under dim fluorescent lights, Andrew performed the operation alone. The surgery went perfectly. Annie's arm was set, sutured, and casted. She was stable, but exhausted. With no parents or guardians to be found, Andrew made a bold decision. He took her home. That night, Annie slept on his couch, wrapped in a blanket. Andrew sat nearby in silence, watching over her. But inside, he wasn't calm. He had violated every hospital protocol in the book, and he knew tomorrow he would face The next morning, as the sun spilled through the blinds, Andrew made breakfast for Annie. She was still asleep when he turned on the TV, keeping the volume low. Then he froze. A breaking news alert flashed across the screen. A missing girl. Mother pleads for help. There it was, Annie's photo. Same jacket, same smile. Her mother, Olivia Roberts, was crying on screen, begging for information. Annie had disappeared the night before, and police were searching the entire city. Helicopters hovered above neighborhoods, patrol cars circled the park, and flyers with her photo were already being distributed. Olivia's emotional plea had struck a chord across the community, and volunteers had even begun organizing search parties. Andrew's heart dropped. A chill ran through his spine. The weight of what had happened, and what could have happened, landed on him all at once. He grabbed his phone with trembling hands and called the hotline immediately, desperate to bring relief to a terrified mother and prevent further misunderstanding. "And I have her. She's safe. I'm a doctor. Please, just let her mother know." Less than an hour later, the doorbell rang. Olivia stood outside with 2 police officers. "Where's my daughter?" she cried. "She's inside." "Please, she's okay," Andrew said calmly, stepping aside and raising his hands in a peaceful gesture. He tried to explain more, but the officers had already stepped forward. One of them pulled out a pair of handcuffs, moving swiftly, mechanically, following standard procedure. "One turn around, sir," the taller officer said in a firm tone. Andrew hesitated for a split second, shocked by how quickly things were escalating. Before he could protest, his wrists were pulled behind his back, and the cold steel of the cuffs snapped shut. His heart pounded, not in fear, but in frustration. "Wait!" Olivia yelled, pushing past the second officer. Her voice cracked. "He saved her. He didn't take her. He helped her. Let me see my daughter." Her voice trembled with desperation, a mother's plea that silenced even the officers for a moment. They rushed into the apartment. Annie was just waking up, her casted arm propped on a pillow. The moment she saw her mother, she shouted, "Mama!" They embraced, sobbing. Through tears, Annie whispered, "Uncle Andrew fixed me. He helped me when I was hurt." The room fell silent. One of the officers slowly stepped forward, glancing from Olivia to Annie and then to Andrew. His expression softened slightly as he reached for the key. Andrew rubbed his sore wrists as the officer gave him a small nod, not an apology, but perhaps a silent acknowledgement that the situation wasn't what they'd first thought. Later that day, Andrew returned to the clinic. His heart was heavy, but his conscience was clear. He was summoned by the chief surgeon, Dr. Ian Matthews, a man known more for rules than compassion. "And you performed a procedure without consent, without paperwork. That's a direct violation." "Say I saved her arm. Her life could have been ruined." "Hence not your call." Andrew was fired on the spot. He packed his things in silence, unsure of what his future would hold. What Andrew didn't know was that Olivia wasn't done fighting. The next morning, she stormed into the clinic, with Annie by her side. She didn't stop at the reception. She walked straight into the office of the clinic's owner, her father, Michael Parker. "Dad, this is Dr. Carter. He saved Annie's arm last night, and they fired him for it." Michael looked at Andrew. "Is that true?" Andrew nodded, explaining everything without emotion, just facts. He detailed how he had found Annie alone and injured, how the clinic had been closed, and how he assessed the fracture and made the urgent decision to operate without delay. Every word was chosen carefully, painting a clear picture of a man who acted not out of recklessness, but from a place of deep compassion and moral duty. Michael sat back, deep in thought. "I appreciate protocol," he said, "and I value courage and heart even more." He turned to his staff. "He get Dr. Carter his job back." "No, promote him. He's the new chief of surgery." Weeks passed. Andrew settled into his new role with humility and quiet strength. But something unexpected was happening outside the hospital walls. He found himself having dinner with Olivia and Annie, then walks in the park, then late-night conversations. He wasn't just the man who saved Annie anymore. He was becoming part of their lives. Annie started calling him Uncle Andrew, and Andrew began to feel something he hadn't felt in a long time, belonging. One quiet evening, as they sat on the balcony overlooking the city, Andrew turned to Olivia. "My life used to be all about work. Then you and Annie came along. Now I can't imagine my life without you." He paused. "I love you, Olivia. I love Annie like my own daughter. I want us to be a real family." Tears welled in her eyes. "And I've been waiting for you to say that," she whispered. "We love you too." At that moment, Annie burst into the room, grinning. "Does that mean you're my dad now?" Andrew scooped her into his arms. "Only if you'll have me." Andrew Carter broke the rules to save a little girl's arm and lost his job. But in doing so, he saved a family and found one of his own. Now he's not just a doctor, he's a hero, a father, a man who proved that sometimes the right choice isn't the one written in the rulebook, it's the one written in the heart. What do you think of Dr. Andrews' decision as a doctor? Would you have put your own career at risk to save a life? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you for tuning in to Storyline Narrative.